Good morning, Facebook. It's Gerry. We're coming to you live from Rythmia Life Advancement Center in beautiful Guanacaste, Costa Rica. I'll tell you a little bit about the center first and tell you about some things that are going on. First, we are a complete life advancement center that's focused on metaphysical teachings combined with plant medicine to bring about a very unique set of changes in people's lives. And hi Zinlin, hey Johnny. A really unique set of changes in people's lives. And what do I mean by unique set of changes? And I want to remind you, Facebook changed its rules. If you're thinking about anybody who could be using this, please press the share at any time in the broadcast, but press it now because this is going to be a good one about creation and how to create. First, I'm talking a little bit about the center. The center has a unique philosophy, and the philosophy is one that's based on the theory of a split of self at a young age, and that all disease, all addiction, all disorders are a result of this split. And it looks something like this. I hope this is right. You can see that? And that split from soul and self, the mending of this split is what makes things get better in life. It's just a fact. So we really believe that all addictions, all disorders, and all diseases are a result of this split. And why do we believe that? What grounds do we have for saying stuff like this? Almost 6,000 people have been through our center. Almost 6,000 people have been through our center. And about 94.78% as of yesterday, so it's 947 out of every 1,000, say that they had this life-changing experience, which is a remerger during their stay. The most important part about this is 6 months later, 97.55% of those people say that this miracle is still happening in their life, that their life has been forever changed. 97.5% of the people say that their life has been forever changed 6 months down the road. That's what makes us different. And we are really different. This is a different place, a different program, and I dare tell you there's nothing like it on the earth. How do I know that? Well, for a little tiny resort in Costa Rica, we're the #1 rated TripAdvisor resort of any type in the world. Not on two reviews, on almost 800 reviews. The number better than the Waldorf Astoria, better than the Four Seasons, better than everywhere is us. So we're doing something that's pretty unique here. Something is really unique. So let's talk about it. What we do here is through a series of processes which include plant medicine, metaphysical teachings, and the like, we get you to remerge with your soul. And there is a process. It's see who I become, merge me back with my soul, and heal my heart. That happens here. This is a pretty interesting week. We've been having some amazing weeks. This week is a really great week because my friend is here, Reverend Michael Bernard Beckwith, my friend and 96 of our closest friends. We have 96 people in ceremony, completely sold out, and I want to send out an apology if you were one of the people that could not get in this week because we were oversold. I'm sorry, but that's telling you that there's something else greater coming for you, another speaker, or just a week that's just the program. Yeah, I want to talk about that for 1 second. Really cool person on the business tip. If you're an author or in the spiritual practices or a healer, Debbie Dashinger is coming here October 13th, and she's a syndicated award-winning radio host. She's a business builder, really cool lady, super smart. You might want to come that week. That's October 13th. Try to get here. Try to get here. Okay, so let's talk about something. So I have the great benefit of seeing we have a tremendously tight community at Rythmia. And what I mean by tight is people form, once this happens, once they remerge, they form relationships with us that last forever. Some people have been here 13 times in just over a year. It's just such a crazy, beautiful, energetic place. And then you say, well, why, if it works so good, did they come back 13 times? Well, here's the truth. Some people come back just for the community. This sense of community, this group of searchers who are our soul family, and that family keeps growing. This is a magical, magical, magical place. At any time throughout this broadcast, if you want to talk to someone about the program, about how to qualify, about if you can qualify medically or have any questions, please dial 1-866-936-9446. That's 1-866-936-9446. Now I want to talk about something else. So all 5,700-ish people through the door. We'll be at 6,000 in a month. That's how this works, yeah, here. People come back and tell me how their life has been since they've been here. And it's always amazing. But I want to tell you something. The ones that do the best, and what do I mean by the best? When you come here and you emerge back with your soul, you don't have questions. You know who you are, you know what you want, and you know what is right for you. You know if Dave is the right guy for you. You know if you should be working in Florida. You know if you should be living in Texas. You have all the answers. And it's beautiful to go through life with your own answers. I hate saying that. I don't know much about shit, but I don't ask anybody anything because I know exactly what I want. And that is the truth. Oh, that's not true. Sometimes I go to the medicine with different things. But generally speaking, I know what I should be doing, who I should be with, who my friends should be, what I should want as far as material things. I know these things. Now, to see people who do good is wonderful because when you know what you want, your life is good because you're either getting out of what you don't want or moving toward what you do want or happy with what you have. Beautiful. Great place to be. But the people who are really called by the medicine to be shepherds in the shift. Called by the medicine to be shepherds in the shift. How do we know who we are? The medicine will tell you who you are. And if it says that you're this person who's supposed to do this thing, then we want you to do it. And now comes down to the act of creation. In the act of creation, what are the important things? The most important thing in the act of creation is not giving up and not quitting. That leads to, hey Ross, what's up? Here's a dude who was called, picked, chosen, and is doing it. Ross. But here's the thing. When we're called, we have to make that happen. How do we make that happen? By not quitting, number one, and by consistency. So the first thing we have to do is resolve ourselves to, and we can only do that if we pick the thing we're going for from our heart. So the medicine is a beacon of our heart. It's a rebroadcaster of our heart, not our mind, of our heart. What is your heart's desire? And then when that comes into reality, then we have to say to our heart's desire, I am not going to give up on you until I die. So now that's the commitment. That's what keeps us from quitting. And now the other thing that we need to do it to have it become reality, to create it, not manifest it, is we have to be consistent and do that every day. So it ain't easy. Anybody who tells you that you're going to get a discount at the spiritual counter is full of shit. You pay full price at the spiritual counter. And you know what? What a joyous purchase it is. But you pay full price. So this is let's talk about this. So what is paying full price? Paying full price is that there's this cosmic set of rules that make you work for the object of your desire so that it's cherished and so that you can experience the fullness and richness of having it. So the thing is this. Let's say that your thing, the medicine says, hey, Jenny, I want you to become a tremendous healer. So now, the medicine says that. The medicine only tells you what your heart wants. So you might say, my mind wants me to be a supermodel. And you think that's what you want. And the medicine says, no, Jenny, that's not what you want. What you want is to be a healer. The medicine will only talk to you in the language of your heart's desire. So when it says it now we got to be it. So now we're going to be a healer. How do we become a healer? Well, we got to get good at it. How do we get good at it? By committing to it and then being consistent in training, whatever our plan is, to be consistent, to not stay in bed, to get up, to do our thing, and to be on it every day. This is the unfortunate part of it. This is the part of success that people don't like talking about. You know why? It doesn't fucking sell books. This does not sell books. This is not a shortcut. This is not now. The benefit of it is this. When something is gained through this exercise, when it's acquired, it brings joy. When something is gained through a shortcut, when it's acquired, it's lost. When something is gained through a shortcut, once it's acquired, it's lost, and its acquisition does not bring joy. Bang. There you have it. So here's what we're saying. The hard way is the easy way. The hard way is the joyous way. The hard way is the way that brings fulfillment. Very interesting stuff. Because that's not what a lot of the new age broke ass, I hate saying this, but there's a bunch of what I would consider broke ass people selling packages and systems on how to create wealth, and they don't fucking even have it because they don't even understand it. You know, I listen to people here every day that, people think that because they can afford their rent payment and travel that they're wealthy. That's not, they're missing the whole fucking thing, yeah? So what I'm talking about is things that are done the right way, that have value. And when I say they have value, what I mean by this, their acquisition brings joy. Why? Because they were acquired the right way. And what is the right way? Take a look at how the universe acquires. Take a look at what real acquisition is. When water is so consistent that it erodes rock and makes this beautiful lake, that lake is joy. How's it done? Consistently. The softness of water erodes rock. Consistency. So when I did things in my life, I used to be what's called a fast buck artist. I'd pull moves and do shit and fucking... That's why a lot of times the buying and selling of someone else's stock, someone else's dream, you can make a lot of money and it can feel so terrible. But by creating something that benefits the universe, so you're creating your skills of being a healer and benefiting the universe, or writing that book and benefiting the universe. As hard as it was, you were consistent. You acquired it with a lot of work. The acquisition brings joy. And people will say, hey, Kelly, people will say the acquisition, acquiring things doesn't bring joy. They're full of shit. They're full of shit. Because there are things that are acquired that bring joy. The joy usually comes in the act of acquisition. And what is that? Trabaja. That's fucking working. So the thing is, and I don't mean working like a fool. I mean consistently and purposely and lovingly working to acquire this thing. And then when you get it, it tends to multiply. And what do I mean it tends to multiply? This is what I mean. All of a sudden, I become the healer that I've always wanted to be. And now people are recognizing it. They experience it and they become a healer. So now this is what's going on. And this is what's changing the world. So the thing is this thing that we're doing, and if you take a look at it, we're all participating in this shift on one side or the other. We're either for it or against it. We're either helping it or we're slowing it down. And so we're all participating in it. But there is a group of us that are really, really, really purposefully and mindfully being accountable to it every day. And I mean being accountable to it every day. So what does that mean? If I'm a healer, if I'm a life coach, if I'm a fucking nurse, a doctor, whatever I am, that I'm going in there and I'm doing it every day because it is my calling, sanctioned by my heart. It is the joy of my heart. And I'm going to tell you what, you live your life with that kind of purpose, then everything becomes joyous. So in other words, the acquisition of the skill becomes joyous. Then the acquisition of the energetic income that it creates in the form of currency becomes joyous. And then the joy of seeing how it affects other people becomes more joyous. And then to see it be replicated becomes the ultimate thing. This is the beauty of this process. And it can't happen without the connection to the heart and your promise to it. So in other words, what happens to most people who are in the creation process that quit? I swear on a stack of 1 trillion Bibles, that right before they get to it, they quit. Right before they get to it, they quit and they start something else. And they never, ever, ever, ever get great at a thing. Because they get really good at a lot of shit, but they never get great. So, before I start anything, and I swear to you, before I started this thing, I said to myself, well, the moon told me to do it, which sounds bananas, but it's the truth. And then in my space where I was clear, I said, Gerry, if you start this thing, it either has to break you or it's going to win. And what I mean by break me financially, break me ethically, break my spirit. It's so goddamn important to me that I'm going to go the whole distance or I'm not doing it. Now, you do the exact same thing with your careers, with your businesses, with your restaurant, with your bakery, with your life coaching business, with your healing. And how does it start? It starts by doing one. You know, a book starts with the fucking first word in the first chapter. Starts with one. And all of you can do one of what you're working on. You all can go and heal one person. You know, half of you are life coaches and been life coaches for 20 years and never got paid for it. Notice everybody comes to you for advice. You're already on it. And everybody's coming to you for advice, and you're trying to be an architect. Your mind wants to be an architect, but your soul's screaming, I'm a life coach. So pay attention to yourself. Well, Jason, do a lot of couples come? Are they? Yeah, couples do great, singles do great, they all do great. But pay attention to yourself because you're getting clues over what your heart wants all the time. See, here's the problem with us. We have televisions and fucking magazines and fucking internet and fucking all kinds of shit that's saying this is what you want. And now this is what I want. I want a white picket fence, 2 dogs, 3 cats, a wife with blonde hair and ponytails, and fucking 3 kids. That's what it's saying. Who's saying it? Visa, MasterCard, American Express. They're telling us our shit. And all of a sudden we're buying into that. And the days of buying into that are over because your heart in this life cycle, this time around, you only have you and what your heart wants. When you die, and depending on your beliefs, mine, that I've been here 50,000 times, I'm going to be here 50,000, I'm going to forget about that. I might get on some medicine journeys that show it to me, but in my waking life, I'm going to forget about it. So all I got is this period of 90 years. That's what I got. And so I want to listen to my heart because my heart's screaming to me about what it wants. So if that doesn't mean that I look the way that the TV says I'm supposed to look, if that means that I live somewhere that the TV says is not cool, if that means that I have a relationship that the TV says is not normal, if that means that whatever the fuck it means, it means, but it means it to my heart. And I have to start operating on what my heart wants, because when I don't, and I'm split, all I keep doing is stubbing my toe. Stubbing my toe in one way, stubbing my toe in a different way, stubbing my toe in a new way. And that shit does not work. It doesn't work. It ends up in alcoholism. It ends up in overspending. It ends up in workaholism. It ends up in drug abuse. It ends up in sex abuse. It ends up in all kinds of shit. Sometimes it ends up in general malaise. And that's the worst of all. I'd rather see somebody who's fucking drunk every day and still hanging on than somebody who gets into a phase of general malaise. If you ever see that, that's worse than death. That's the Walking Dead. No bueno. So let's listen to our hearts. Let's start today. Listen to our hearts. Make a deal. Hey, Lorena, I remember you. Make a deal with our hearts and latch onto that deal. Commit to that deal. Yes, I'm going to be a healer if it kills me. Yes, I'm going to be a life coach if it kills me. Yes, I'm going to write the book if it kills me. Yes, I'm going to write that piece of music and get that piece of music heard if it kills me. And then to have the consistency to work on that every day by contract with myself. So here's the thing. You can't go to your loved one or your girlfriend or your dog and say, oh, fuck, okay, you got to make me do this. No fucking way. This is between you and you. And this is all this is. You die, you and you. Most of our lives, we live us and us. So this is the real important part. The problem is the us and us you've been talking about is you and your mind, and we got to get down to you and your heart. And from you and your heart, everything changes. Everything changes. And so the thing that I keep relearning, and I make the same mistakes everybody else makes. I tend to make them for a shorter period of time, and that's what makes me so lucky in business all the time, right? I'm lucky in business, and I'm super lucky in this. I want to tell you something. 5 years ago when I bought this thing, and I bought this 2 months after the medicine told me to do it, everybody told me, you're crazy. There's not enough people. You bought such a big resort. There's not enough people in the world that want to do medicine every single week, 52 weeks. You're crazy. You're talking about 5,200 crazy people a year who want to come down and face themselves in another country. And I thought, the medicine's not wrong. And I made that commitment. And there's so many weeks a year that we can't take another person. I had to tell, 20 people no this week. And try to put them into another spot. So here's what I'm telling you. It's always right because you're making it. So what does that mean? There is no guessing in something you're going to create. You don't have to guess. Is the market going up? Is the market going down? This is what the fuck I'm going to do. This is what the fuck I'm going to do. So I create it. And then what do you look? You look super smart. How did he know that's going to... He didn't know. He made it. He didn't know. He built his own. And you're building your own life. You're building your own life. So build it and start with your heart. And from your heart, you can go anywhere. Because listen to this. Your heart, the medicine, your soul, make no mistakes. The TV makes lots of mistakes. Your mind, a shit ton. Your neighbor, even more. Be fucking careful what you listen to. And start listening to your heart and committing to it. Committing to it. Make a deal. Make a deal. You know why? I think in the United States we're living 78.6 years. 78.6 is right around the corner. Right around the fucking corner. Right around the corner. 78.6. Right around the corner. It's a heartbeat. And you know what? Don't spend 10 years sitting on the fence. And what do I mean sitting? It's easy. When you're in your 30s, it's super simple. You watch the TV and you want the BMW and you want this and you want that and you want cocaine and you want 30 girls. Do that. Because it's fun. Do it so that you know that's not the answer. Get that out of the way. But please don't be 40 years old or 50 years old sitting on the fence and not necessarily the girls, the cocaine, the this. but doing what people are telling you, what your life should look like. Get completely out of that and go right to your heart and see what your heart wants. And then commit to it, and then be consistent with it, and you'll get the answer to your dreams. And then when you acquire it, it'll bring joy. And joy in multiple ways. The joy of acquisition, the energetic response to that joy, which is monetary income, and then watching people benefit from that joy, and then watching them replicate it. Boom. That's it. So listen, I love talking about this shit. This is my favorite shit. Do me a favor and share this shit. Share it. People need to hear this. They need to hear this. They need to get off the fence. They got to stop listening to their head, and they have to start listening to their heart. And you know what? We'll change the world even more. And by the way, it's changing for the better every day, and you're a part of it. So I want to take a moment and just say, God bless you. God keep you this week, and listen to your heart this week. It'll be the best thing you've ever done. And damn it, come to Rythmia, because we can get all kinds of stuff squared out in 7 days. And I'm not kidding you. So please come here and see us, and God bless you. And one other thing, if your competitors aren't talking shit about you, you're not doing it right. There you are. Okay? Fantastic. Have a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful week. God bless you. God hold you. Call this 800 number 1-866-936-9446 and book this shit, even if it's 2 years out. Book it. Okay? God bless you. Have a great week.